think so. We're now live. It still looks a bit. I've got the light on. So, what's the problem? Interesting. I suppose that's better. A bit bright. God, so professional. That's what I like about this. So professional. So we go a wee bit this way. Bear with me. Bear with me. What was I going to say? Can't believe me. So once again, I'm up to an unearthly hour. Middle of the day. And everything's going to pot because of this lockdown thing. Everything's going to pot. So, how best can I fill my time in? Talk about the programme, don't you? Because you don't get much of it. Don't get much of it at all. What you do get is just a whole lot of rubbish. Self-indulgent crap. So I was wondering how to start it. Because I got all sorts of things going through my head during the day. And then when I come to sit down, I can't remember them. But that's interesting. You see, I believe that this programme comes from a higher power. Loving, caring higher power. And it's designed. Well, it's spiritual. It's designed to inspire. And if you're inspired, pretty good place to be in life, to be inspired. And I can't think for the life of me that God would only choose alcoholics, exclusively alcoholics, except for to make the point that if I can get these alcoholics sorted, then you lot can get sorted as well. So it's not meant just for alcoholics. No, it's just an example of God's will, God's love. And if you see alcoholics getting well, then you lot should have a crack at it. Why would they need to have a crack at it? Well, because most people are uninspired. They just go about their life, the usual droll, the usual stuff going on. Unless, of course, they go and get drunk and behave outside the box and have a laugh and whatever. And as long as they don't go too far, then that's fine. But then it's back to the drugs again. Especially if they have too much. The next day they've got a headache. This programme's designed for everybody. This is the point. This is the secret of it. It's designed for everybody. Because of step 4 and 5, I realised how other people saw me. And that's astonishing. Because most people don't. Most people don't. They just go through life and nothing happens. And God gives the gift to see us the way that other people see us, said that famous Scottish poet. And he's probably an alcoholic as well. And it is a gift. You see, it's a gift. That's his point. It's get up a bit. Let's see if that helps. Oops, done something here. Got something up my screen. Shouldn't be there. Get off. I was born in Glasgow in 53. I can prove that. I was born to 2 people who should not have had children. Should not have had children. I was brought up in such a way that put in place the necessary ingredients for this disgusting illness, this spiritual malady. And I was full of fear, full of resentment, and no self-worth. Just think about it. Full of fear, full of resentment, and no self-worth. And I didn't know. I didn't know it was imprinting in me the map of my life. You don't know, you don't know. Nothing you can do about it. That's true of everybody. You often get that, don't you? What is it they say? Don't talk politics, don't talk religion, and don't talk about your work, the rules and pubs, and don't talk about the family. And don't criticise your mum and dad. Why not? If they deserve criticism. That's why it happens in New Year when they all get together, or maybe Christmas. In Scotland, it's New Year. Well, it was New Year. It might have changed. May have become more civilised, those little Scottish people up there. I'm down in London way, and I'm grateful for it. Yeah. So the whole family get-togethers. Well, they go to a wedding or a funeral, and the drink starts to flow, and it starts, And the sensible, wise ones say, right, I'm off, see you later. But the ones who get into it, who are looking for some sort of resolution, they stay there, edge up a battle, shouting and bawling and crying and pointing the finger and yeah. This is brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles and I think most people identify with it. And then of course once it's done, they forget all about it. And therein lies the problem. They don't deal with it because they don't know. Oh, that sounds familiar. I became an alcoholic. I don't know how I was treated and how it affected me. I know I was full of resentment. I resented everything. And full of fear. Wow. And no self-worth, no confidence, no nothing. No self-respect, no self-esteem. Dreadful, dreadful place for a child to be in and not knowing why. Horrendous. That's the extreme end. And I was one of the lucky ones, I suppose. I woke up one morning. No, I didn't even. It wasn't in the morning. I was walking back from the pub drunk. It was a Sunday night. I'd been at it all weekend. And in fact, I wasn't drunk. I was so hungover I couldn't drink. The governor of the pub, he had to go at me. I pay this man money to come here and play money, and you just sit to play music, and you just sit there sitting on a pint. Stupid person. Pretty dumb statement for a pub manager to say. But resentment, because I wasn't spending money, and he was spending money on the band. Ta-da-da. Right, boom, boom. See you later. I walked out of that pub and walked home, the countryside, and wherever it was, Lincolnshire, Hall Beach. Not too far from Peterborough, on the way to Kings Lynn. And just a little town dropped in the middle of the crop fields. I won't go into how we ended up there. Another trying to get, what is it they call it? A geographical. Full of the best intentions. But I walked home that evening, that Sunday night. Beautiful night, beautiful clear sky, January, cold, beautiful. The stars and everything, it's really quite lovely up there, especially when the Aurora Borealis, the northern lights start to show as well, because they do show at times. I was walking back and I thought to myself, I can't do this anymore. The wife had gone, she disappeared with the kids. And dead right as well, dead right. Probably she'd taken the car, which kind of stranded me. And that was the beginning of it. That was in January, February 1993, I think. Yeah, 93. I went to my first AA meeting on the Monday night. I got on the bus in the town. I returned to wherever. He said, well, I can get you there, but I can't get you back. So, why is that? I only had £1 on me. It was my last of my money. And I was spending it on this AA meeting. He said, well, this is the last bus. So it goes there and stops. All right. And I went. Didn't particularly care. I was going to get home. Wasn't really sure how far it was. But I went to this meeting. And some people say they're not too sure, they're a little bit hesitant. I burst in the doors. I walked straight in. By the time I found them. And if a guy outside had said to me, why are you crying? I said, because I can't find this AA meeting. That's why. It was true. I was in tears. That was the beginning of a long journey. And I struggled in AA. Most people do. For one simple reason. They don't talk about the programme. I thought at first it was, I didn't realise I had the mind of a 10-year-old child. And I would listen to people in my eyes, wow, well, you done that? God blimey. Yeah, I never done that. And being thoroughly entertained by it, especially the funny guys. Those funny guys, they seem to find something funny in it. Yeah, okay. But that ended. What does it say? The honeymoon period. Remember one genius said that to me? I didn't have a clue what he meant. What do you mean, honeymoon period? That's how dim I was. Was not a good place to be when that ended, because I was going to loads and loads of meets. By this time I'd moved down to London to pick up with my wife again, and sobriety. You'd have thought that would have made a difference. But I didn't realise the youngness of the other part of the business. Wow, God, but I was off, every day I was off going to meetings. This was a big adventure. Adventure of journey of discovery, And so the honeymoon period rapidly came about, as opposed to people who maybe do two meetings a week, maybe 3, and it takes longer. But for me, it was rapid. And I was starting to get angry at meetings and growling at people and resent people, especially the ones who try to make it funny. I really resented them because it wasn't funny and still isn't funny. And I didn't know what was going on. But I was beginning to make it obvious I was unhappy. And but nobody helped. Nobody helped me. Nobody seemed to identify with my problem. That was kind of interesting. Surely I wasn't the only one. Anyway, as luck would have it, I found this meeting in the little town, which I now live in, more or less. A little town called Ware in Hertfordshire, in England, North London. I found this little meeting, and it was made up of a bunch of people who basically thought the same as me, that basically AA doesn't work. AA is really upsetting, really frustrating. And this group of people set up this meeting. And that was fine. And I enjoyed going. It was on a Tuesday night, Ware in Hertfordshire. And it was brilliant. And I went to this meeting. I used to swear a lot, effing and blinding. And this was about, I reckon it was just about 9 months. After 9 months in AA, done hundreds of meetings. And I'd asked a couple of nutters to sponsor me in desperation. Shocking business, truly shocking. One with polar opposites and just as dangerous. But I didn't know. They just told me I had to find a sponsor. Big Book doesn't tell you how to find a sponsor, but they were telling me I had to find a sponsor. The big book was telling me that the sponsor had to find me and introduce himself to me and help me. As it says in page 18, read page 18, the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. Read page 18 and stop doing it. Shocking business. Where was I? Yeah, so I found this wee meeting. And it was this soft-spoken Irishman, and I liked him. I just liked just his voice, more than anything. And he always talked about the most famous man who ever lived, Jesus Christ. And I quite liked that for some reason. And yeah, I'd go there. There was other people there talking about stuff and whatever. And it was different. It was definitely different. And this man, I asked him to help me. Well, actually, he came up to me. I was intending to ask him to help me. I've already tried to, so I'm a bit, wait a minute. I'm a bit reluctant, a bit worried about screwing up again. And he came up to me, they gave me the job of greeter, meeting people at the door, say, hello, how you doing? Welcome to da-da-da. No, it's okay. I even screwed that up. And they screwed it up as well. It's fucking amazing. What I thought was super sober people, Anyway, the man came over to me and I thought, oh, hey, wow, look at this. This is brilliant, this. And he says, I noticed you swear a lot in the meetings. Oh, God, really, from my heart sunk. He said, says, you run the risk of offending someone. This soft Irish voice, And he hesitated slightly. He says, you've no right to do it. He puts his hand on my arm. That's really strange. Wow, that's weird, that, You feel it under threat and he's putting his hand on your arm. And I never swore gratuitously again at a meeting. Can you imagine? That's 26 years ago. I don't swear gratuitously at all. I might swear at this because it's some of this shocking, dreadful stuff that you have to cover when you're talking about AA. But I asked him to sponsor me. He said, well, I won't sponsor you, but what I will do is I'll take you through the steps exactly as they're laid out in the book. And everything I ask you to do, you will find it in the book. And then he immediately proceeded to ask me to do something that wasn't in the book. Quite bizarre. So I said, yeah, fantastic. And he says, first of all, you have to study the book. You have to look for all these headings, words for God, I can't remember. I think I'm blanked out. You betters, things you better do, and things you must do. And you've got to look through all this. I thought, oh, God, no, I cannot do this. I phoned other people up and said, I can't do that. Well, maybe I'll just read the whole bit. I don't know. It was bad. And it was bad to say that. He now knows how I feel about it. Still hasn't apologised, interestingly enough. Because you should apologise to somebody you do that to. Quite definitely. And there's still people who believe that it's okay. I've taken many people through this programme who have been through that process and didn't make it for the same reasons as me, basically. They didn't make it. And I heard these people talking about it. They never spoke about the ones who didn't make it. These are the ones who could die. But I did. I was a pain. I was an absolute pain. I was a blot on their landscape. Because I did talk about it. What happens to these people? Where do they go after that? I called it abuse as well. They didn't like it. These super sober people. But the man done eventually. It took him 6 months, I think, to get around to it. He had to see his sponsor in America, and he didn't know where he was and all of that stuff. And I never thought for a moment that he was trying to put me off just because he didn't like me. I never thought that. Never for a moment thought that, Because he's the kind of guy who wouldn't suggest anything. Even if he hated you, he was so nice and polite to you. all that kind of. Well, in the sense, holier than thou. Some people didn't like him because he came across as holier than thou. But I would ignore them. They were quite angry people, and they just made them angry. But yeah, so I kind of concluded that he was just hoping I'd go away. Then he realised I wasn't going away. He said, right, okay, what the hell? So I went up to his house. I've been 18 months in AA. I've been to more step meetings than anybody in the country. That's how dedicated I was to this stuff. That's how hooked I was on it. I was hooked on it. Like a good alcoholic. Yeah. I was hooked on it. So I went up to his house. Step one. Had the book out. Did it at step one. Right. So, are you powerless over alcohol? I said, yeah. No problem. Powerless over alcohol. And he pointed out to me the first paragraph of chapter 4, which basically covers the whole previous 3 chapters. Step 1. What does it say? When you want to stop, can you? When you start, can you control the amount you drink? If not, you may have to admit you've got a problem. I throw in the other one, guarantee when you finish. Yeah, I think that's quite appropriate. Quite apt. I'd never seen this. I literally done hundreds of meetings. Hundreds of meetings. And I'd never heard any of this stuff pointed out before, where this stuff was in the book. Although I had listened to John Charlie tapes, which I was grateful for. The second guy who tried to sponsor me. He done me a real favour by lending me the John Charlie tapes. And they helped. They helped. So step 1, powerless. Right, okay, fine. Well, 5 minutes. As it is for most people, because I've taken hundreds of people through this programme. And so if you're powerless, you need a power. It's all about questions. See, the book asks, the steps ask questions. Written by a bunch of ex-drunks who'd have screwed up at 2-car funeral, who'd have argued with put a full stop. They'd done it within a year. Try to tell me there's no higher power. It's hard to get away from it. And yeah, so if I'm powerless, I need a power. But what they clever, what they do is, in the first instance, they talk about their experience and what they've done. They don't tell you what to do at all, because they know how sensitive you are and they may get angry, they may get argumentative. They tell you what they did. These are the steps we took. All right, okay, fine. So you're telling me about your experience. You're not telling me what to do. No, not at all. So that's it. Steps 1 and 2. Powerless, need a power. When I want to stop, I can't. When I start, can't control the amount of drink. Guarantee when I'll finish. Okay. Step 3. Made a decision. Who did? They did. What was that decision? To turn their lives and their will over to the care of God as they understood God. To turn. Not to hand it over. To turn it. Get it turned back. That's cool. I like that. So yeah. So what do we do? Well, it's how do I turn my life, my will over? How did they turn their life and their will over? It's all in the book. Chapter 5 we're on to now. What does it say? I keep forgetting. The book's sitting down there, but I've got bad back, so I can't move too easily, just in case you're wondering. That'll come in as some excuse for me somewhere along the line. I desperately try to figure out where I left off. Yeah, step 3, made a decision. Step 4, moral inventory. Moral inventory. What's that? What's moral mean? I don't know. Moral is to look for the truth. What is the truth about these things? Yeah, I think that's right. We're looking for the truth about what happened to us. And we write out a list of people we resent. That's easy. No problem there. Yeah. Not a list of people who resent us, because, well, hey, people you resent, they're very clever. We know who we resent. There's right to the fourth. Off it comes. So we've got an A4 sheet of paper. We've got a line down the left-hand side, about an inch or so in. And at the top, we'll put a line across the page. And in the top corner, there's a little rectangle. I resent. So you put down my mother, first one, my mother. I'll leave 5 lines, put a line across. That's to give me room to write out the rest of the stuff. And just write out the first column first. So you do all your names, there's 7, you'll get 7 on each page. Don't go across the way, don't start doing that as the cause effects, don't do that. Just do it one column at a time. Highly recommended, because what happens is you get halfway down the page and you start thinking, oh yeah, but she said it, and then they done, and you end up going back editing everything, and then you end up with you don't look at it again. That's dangerous. So the man folded the paper in such a way that I couldn't see it, which was, no, it wasn't. I just opened it, didn't it? So you do write out each name of the people you resent. I resent my mother, resent my sister, resent my mates, resent the school teacher, resent. Nothing's too small. Nothing's too small. Get that name down. And when you have to stop and think about it, issue finished. All right, cup of coffee. You do the same with principles. Principles I've discovered were rules in life that I don't like. And institutions. Oh, I knew about them. Government institutions. My father died when I was 10. My mother was a widow with 5 kids. Insane. They shouldn't have had children, as I said at the beginning. 2 years later, she had twins to some guy who deserted her and left her. So there she had 7 kids. You could not believe it. How irresponsible can you be? And she condemned us to that. The doctors condemned her to the emotional cost or something. What was that drug they were giving out at the time? I talked to a wee woman last week about it. Anyway, it was that famous one. They gave her it. She became hooked on it. So we've been brought up by a drug addict. And there's no blame here. There's no blame at all. But there is responsibility. Who's responsible for what? That includes the doctors and stuff. For deserting and abandoning my mother and her children. This is the thing, the children who don't know what's happening. As I've already spoken about, we don't know what's happening. What's going on here? Yeah. Shocking business. Truly, utterly shocking. So, anyway, these institutions here. So it's people. They say in the rooms that you're just so retarded. People, places, and things. What does that mean? It's quite popular, little saying. People, places, and things. Well, what are things? Well, you resent places and you resent things. What are you talking about? You've really got to get a grip. That's why I started challenging things like that and making people look stupid. They don't like you for making them look stupid. They can't sit down and say, by the way, he's dead right. They just have a pop back at you and talk about you the way they do. Because they're children. They're not a program, they're not changed. They're just dry drunks, bickering away and being nasty at times. Really nasty. And I didn't like that because I was still very childish and immature and sensitive. And I was open to that. wonder how many people walked away when they saw that. When they saw them treating me the way they treated me. I wonder how many people walked away. Don't need this. I know quite a few people who walked away once I got the programme because of the way they treated me when I got the programme. I'm not going to talk about this programme, John. I don't want to be treated the way you get treated. That is shameful, isn't it? That's the atmosphere that they were creating and still do to this day. Absolutely shameful. I've been in physical fights with some nutters because they don't like what I say, even though I can show them it in the book. They shouldn't be in the rooms. If you don't want this programme, what are you doing here? Bugger off. Come back when you're ready. Go and try some control drinking. Good luck to you. But don't sit about here playing about in your childish way. Oh, I'm getting upset and I'm getting distracted now. Yeah. So, I write down a list of people I resent. I write down a list of institutions that I resent. I write down a list of the other things that I resent, principles in life that I resent. Right, fine. I then go back to the middle column, quite a broad one. The cause of this, they put down within the 5 lines, just a little bud, little lines, little words to remind me, because we're going to discuss it with the band. Don't have to write it down in detail, just to remind me. Can't remember what the word is. So that's right. So I go down that column, opposite. And then on the right hand column, the part of me affected. Well, see, I'm stone dead as far as emotions are concerned, rather. So I'm not too sure about this part of me. Yeah. Was it because you upset your wife? Was it because you had tried to go off with your wife? Was it because you tried to screw you for money? Was it because of what they talked about you behind your back? Was it When you put that down, once again, you don't have to go into any great detail because you're going to discuss it with a man. So at the end of it, you've got all this stuff. You've got these 3 columns. I think I had about 90 names. And that wasn't too. I've taken that many people through it. And yeah, quite a lot of people were up around about 70, 80 mark. So I was pretty average. One young guy done 200. He was only young as well, God bless him. I had to take him away, to get him away from it. And then get back to it. God knows how that young lad got on. Yeah, God knows. But at least he walked away with the first 9 steps. So he had the option. And he had no excuses anymore. That's what's so powerful about the first 9 steps. That's why you have to get through the first 9 steps as soon as possible. No, don't wait till they settle down. Oh, just wait till. Oh, wait about 6 months. No, you get it done immediately because you've got no mental defence against that first drink. And these first 9 steps will give you that mental defence. Albeit. So it's interesting. I discuss it with a man. We work out who's responsible for what. And that was fascinating. And this Rabbi Burns thing, God gives a gift to see us. That's when I started to see me. Oh, wow. That was an awakening. Certainly a spiritual awakening. Because it inspired me to be in spirit, to be inspired. All of this stuff is inspirational. Ergo, it's all spiritual. Wow. So don't be sitting about praying for some sun to have some lights to flash and loud voices from the heavens. It's all very practical and sensible stuff. Well, some of the people in the rooms you'd have to be a chosen one with some of these people. So where was I before I distracted myself, as I quite often do? So I discovered what I'm responsible for. So that wasn't my fault. And that was my fault. Yeah. And I learned discernment, how to work things out. Wow. And I saw that in learning this discernment, working things out, it took me back to situations I was in. And so if I'd done that, that would have been, yeah. And he was just a bully boy. If I told him to F off, he would have just F off. But I took it, so he kept going back. Yeah, that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff. Because I was just a child, and I showed that I was just a child, and some people took advantage of it, and some people got upset and offended by it. Some people didn't particularly bother. I remember some people like that. When they were nice people. Nice people. Yeah. Get a con man, and I was a favourite for the con man. Jesus. Attracted him like. So this is chapter 5. We're in the page. Well, we're getting on to page 76, which is very powerful. My favourite. And any business that doesn't take inventory goes bust. Simple as that. You must take inventory. So you have a look at your sexual conduct. Right, okay. Nothing particularly exciting in that. But there was harm caused. And fear. Things I was fearful of. And the distinction between fear and fearful. That's important. Lots of things I'm frightened of. Lots of things. Oh, no. Lots of things. Yeah, I'm frightened of third-party noise. It frightens me, intimidates me. I'm wearing a set of headphones just now, which I wear, and they're sound deadening headphones. And they're good. And it keeps any noise from outside. If there was kids outside playing, it'd drive me up the wall. And I inherited that from my mother. And it's sad. And it's kind of, I wouldn't say it's crippled me, but yeah, I didn't go home at nights unless I was drunk. That would keep the noise out. If I was drunk, that would deaden it. Anaesthetise me. Dear God. And I didn't know why. And my wife didn't know why. Why are you married to him? Why are you having children to him? Don't know why. Just as sick, by the way. Just as sick. And quite handy to have an alcoholic about when you want to go off and do your own little thing, which quite often happens. Quite often happens. And I know that because I've taken people through the program. And they've discovered this. And the marriages that break up as well. The lights are flashing and dimming, and the spirits are coming. They're like, God, God, maybe I'm getting to a point here. Maybe I'm getting to a point. So there's a sexual conduct and there's fear. And don't make too much deal of it, It's you just get it down on paper. Take it out of your head, put it down on paper. That's the best place for it. So, having completed that, I return home. All right. Now, they've not told me I'm there for 2 or 3 days. I'm just there for a day. And I return home. Oh, good. So I'm up to step 5, yeah. I used to worry about missing things out, but you've got a book. Go and read the book. Then let me know if I did miss something, just for future reference. Then learn how to do this, and then I won't have to do it. Carry the message. In case you hadn't noticed, that's what I'm doing. And if you're a newcomer, pin back your logos. This will save you. Trust me, it will save you. AA won't save you. AA will kill you, quite literally. AA will kill you. And I say that with so much sadness. So much sadness. But even the founder members realised that in the 50s and late 50s, early 60s, they saw it was going to the dogs. Even then. They even wrote an article where there was a warning in it. Sobriety, freedom from alcohol, through the practice and teachings of a 12-step recovery program is the sole purpose of an AA meeting. That's it. Nothing else. Not a primary purpose. It's a sole purpose. Right. So We don't talk about anything else other than that. That's right. And if you haven't done the steps, keep your mouth shut and listen. All right. And there should be plenty of the man described on page 18, the ex-problem drinker who's found this solution, spiritual experience, who's in possession of the facts about himself. He's taking the steps. Can help, can win the confidence. The person making this approach, or he makes the approach. Yeah. You don't go and ask for a sponsor. They provide you with one. And it's not a sponsor. It's a guide. Read it. Page 18. Please read it. And anything in squiggly writings, italics, is focused and serious, and concentrate on that. Please. Please. People are dying. They don't need to be dying. It's a horrendous way to die. I've seen people dying of this illness. Not nice. Not nice. One young guy, Dale, drug addict. He had plenty of opportunity. I hung about with his mate. I took his mate through the programme, and we hung about together quite often and got on quite well. But he just wouldn't take it. He wouldn't. Nah, I'm okay. Overdosed and dead. Early 30s. Nice lad as well. Nice lad. It's just so sad. So sad. And can't win them all. So where was I anyway? Yeah. We've taken these first 5 steps. To all intents and purposes, no, it's not to all intents and purposes. Returning home, right, they didn't say 2 or 3 days, they said day. And I know that because I've done it hundreds of times. Hundreds of times. People are quite shocked at times. What's that? Yeah, that's it. Are you sure? Well, they talk about it. Yeah, they talk about it. It's in the book. Everything they're showing you is in that book. Oh, yeah, you took time to point that out to me. There you go. You want what they've got? Right, okay, let's get down there. And returning home, take down the book, sitting and relaxing, because you've been through a lot. 4 and 5, whoa, it really drains you in a very spiritual way. It's very, it's beautiful, but it really drains you. And take down the book, have a look through what you've done. The previous. What was it? They say in the book, they call it the first 5 proposals. Check out the first 5 proposals, just have a look over it, And I thought, what's that mean, proposals? What's a proposal? Why are they doing this to me? Everything's going okay at the moment, and now they're talking about a proposal. So I phoned the man up. I said, what's this proposal stuff? It says here, I've got to look through the first 5 proposals. I said, yeah, the first 5 steps. So why didn't they just say that? He said, yeah, you're right. Why didn't they just say that? And hey, what up to me? So I was all right with it. I was fine with it. So we're going to page 76. I like page 76. Step 6. Yeah. Are you okay with all this resentment stuff? Or is there anything you kind of finding difficult you can't let go of? Well, that's okay. Don't let it hold you back. Just say the step 7 prayer and do it on a daily basis until you get rid of this. Some people have got resentments that they find very difficult to let go of because they've been badly treated, and sometimes seriously badly treated, and seriously advised by so-called people that they have. This wee woman who came to me, she had been a serial relapser, and one of our therapists, or whatever you call them, in a treatment centre, they couldn't get anywhere with her. So I knew one of the guys who worked in it. He turned out to be a sicko as well. Hello, Bill. How are you doing, my Scottish friend? Outed again. Poor old Sarah, treating her that way. Disgraceful. I liked Sarah. He married her. I knew she shouldn't because I'd heard it step 4. But there you go. What can you say? Not a lot. But I'm getting off the track. I'm only human. Some of this stuff's been very hurtful. Very hurtful. So I don't think this is easy. It takes up an awful lot of stuff. So anyway, where was I? Before you so rudely interrupted me. Yeah, if there's anything you want to hold on, and this wee woman came to me and did it, and I was saying about making amends and stuff like that. And she started crying. So, God, what have I done here? She said, why are you crying? Well, what you're saying about making amends to people and stuff like that, I understand that. But my previous sponsor, told me that I had to make amends to my father. Yeah, but your father sexually abused you. Yeah. But he said I had to, because I resented him, I had to make amends to him. And she burst into tears because what she was hearing me saying is, no, you don't. And it was such a relief to her. She was tears of joy. I said, no, not at all. At all. You're not always responsible for what happens in these resentments. Jesus, there's all sorts of things that can happen that you resent somebody. And totally and perfectly understandable. And anybody who says anything different needs to go and get help, which is probably about 90% of the so-called sponsors that are on about. Oh dear. I don't know what to do. My sponsor's gone off on holiday and I feel so... Talk about codependency. And some of these sponsors will love it. They save them up. You see them at times at meetings, have got 2 or 3 people round about them. The sponsees. Disgusting. Needing people to rely on them and abusing them at the same token. And people get upset with me with that. They get upset for their sponsors. He's saying this and he's saying that. He's dead right, you know. So that was interesting with that wee woman. Jesus. I don't know what happened to her afterwards. She walked away with Ted and 11 on a daily basis. She had the option. And hopefully she worked on it. But the great thing about the first 9 steps is it takes away all your excuses. There's none of these rationalisation and just but that she had none of that anymore with the first 9 steps. That's all gone. You're left with the reality of it. Fine. That'll keep you coming back. So yeah. So that's a powerful message regarding making amends and crazy sponsors. So and the steps have been prepared to help you with that on a daily basis. And once you're doing that, you carry on with step. Let's look at steps 8 and 9. Let's look at them. Let's stress and look. We made a list of people we had harmed. Yep. We'd done it when we took inventory. Right, so I don't have to do it. No, you've already done it. And that's true, said the book. And this young lad that I met, I've got so many examples, I can't get through any step without pointing out one glaring misdirection of something. I met a young lad at a one-day convention in Camden Town years ago. Mancunian Tom was there. That's a very sick guy. If you ever bump into him, very sick guy. Hello, Tom. Yeah, me. You remember me? Yeah. The big book thumper. That's right. Yeah, Step Nancy. Remember I said that to the man. They're calling me a Step Nancy. I said, well, John, I wonder what kind of program they're practicing that allows them to use that kind of language. And his soft Irish accent. That was enough for me. Yeah, you did right. Disgraceful way to behave. Big book thumper. Member of the God Squad. Anyway, before I start getting depressed again. See, this is all depressing, by the way. You think I'd just go on here for my ego and to come in and perform, you know? Actually, I don't. It's tinted with depression, and because of so many examples I've got of people who have suffered and struggled because of it. But anyway, I've got step 7 to help me through that. So we've got steps 8 and 9. We look at steps 8 and 9. He said that step 8 made a list of people we'd harmed. We'd done it when we took inventory. Yeah, fine. The wee lad down at Camden said, oh yeah, I'm on step 8. What do you mean you're on step 8? I'm making a list of people. You make a list at step 4. Read it. Read what it says. Read the words. And my sponsor said, your sponsor's wrong. Just read the book and you'll see how your sponsor's wrong. When a young lad kind of, when he went away, never seen him again. But hopefully he went away and thought about it. Says, guy's right. Guy's right. You won't go to your sponsor because you think the sponsor's brilliant. You think the sponsor's this it. You've got him up in that pedestal, you know. Shocking. So we get to step 9, and all the stuff that goes with step 9. There's quite a lot involved in step 9, but other than you've recognised you've harmed these people, so you have to go and make amends to them. It's about how do you make amends to them. When could be whenever it happens. It could be a long time, and the only problem is that, as the man said to me, when you've got your list, we'll go out now to make direct amends, whenever possible. Right, okay. But before you go out there, before you get this name and you go out to make amends, talk to me about it. And we'll make sure there's nothing there that's going to compromise you or them or whatever. Like, sorry about having an affair with your wife, you know. Compromise. Oh dear. Well, what? You had an affair with my wife? Oh, you didn't know. Oh, sorry. Things like that can happen. Step 9 is quite a few pages of step 9. From page 77 through to page 84, I think. So there's a lot of pages of it. But that's it. That's simple. And at the end of that, you've got the promises. I do like the promises, especially that one about we will intuitively know how to handle things that used to baffle us. Oh, yeah, I like that. Yeah, what does that mean? But I liked it. And then I found out what it meant. To be intuitive. Like riding a bike. You do it, you practice it for so long that it just becomes a natural part of you. Yeah, right, yeah, I can get to that. There you go. Yes, and it's my favourite step for me. Intuitively knowing promises. They promise you this. And this is where I set out making amends to people. You know? Some people think you just do one step at a time. You know, what you're practicing. You're out making amends to people, yeah. What about the rest? Oh, well, once I've done that, yeah, because it's a sponsor. When it's there in the book, just read it. It's there in the book. And whilst you're doing that, 10 and 11. 10, in its simplest form, continue to take inventory when we were wrong, properly admit it. This time it's a personal inventory, not a moral inventory looking for the truth. We've already discovered that big time. Wow, big time. And so it's now a daily diary, basically. And I said to the man, how did it? He said, well, you know, do it the same way as you've done the step 4. And I've got my folder down there from 1997. Right, you don't believe me? Well, just hold on a second, I'll get it for you. Wow. Go on. That's my bad back. Not just sound effects. There you go. Gratitude lists all over the place. That's going back to 12th of the 1st, 1995. Wow. And my gratitude as it is today, I first of all list the daily things I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for my sobriety, my health, my family, their health, the presence of God in our lives, a quiet home, AA, and my awakening. What was that? Quiet time with family, AA, Harness Grove, Ken's chair, talk with Linda and Teresa, talk with Linda and Teresa. Oh, that's interesting. I'll get that one. AA Kingsbury, talk with Paul C. Time with Teresa. Amen. This is it. This is a gratitude list. And let's go back there to 95. Yeah. And some of it was lost in the early days. So I just sit down and have a serious look through this and start to recall and remember names that come up in it. The beginning. Oh. That was a little thing I wrote about in the beginning as a child. Wow. One time I've seen that. And then there's I'm resentful of the Catholic Church. Hey, yep, dead right. Hypocritical non-scriptural doctrines affect my self-esteem, my security, my ambition, my personal relationship. Hey, I love that, super. I'm resentful at football, boxing, unions, industry, governments, evil devil system, society, all of that, which is all pretty naive, because that's where I was at. I'd only started growing when I took these steps. When I was 10-year-old. When I took these steps. It's marvellous, that's what it is. It's really marvellous to have after all these years. Wow, 25 years. Anyway, that's it. That's doing my daily inventory and doing it the way I done it in step 4. Just a different heading, isn't it? So personal inventory. I resent the conflict. Fine. And always do it, even if it's you're leaving pages. If you've got nothing on that day, leave the page in there, so as you know you see the difference between the distance between feelings of resentment, because they do begin to get distance. You know, so you 4, 5 blank pages, 5 days without a resentment, and that's a nice way of doing it. Although having said that, most people, in my vast experience, don't bother recepting. In the sense that they don't phone up and talk to me as they should, as I was directed on a daily basis to share it until I get into the habit of it. You know, that was all. Well, maybe these people are better than me. It probably wouldn't be hard that time. But anyway, there you go, step 10. Step 11, sort through prayer and meditation. Who did? They did. Everything's a question. Everything's a question. Well, entirely ready to have it. Who they were? How did they do it? That's a question. Step 11. Sort through prayer and meditation. Oh, I didn't mind the prayer thing, whatever that would be. But the meditation, no. I went to one of these meditation meetings. I thought, God, you cannot be serious. You really cannot be serious. This is as far off the principles and whatever of AA than you can imagine. And here they are telling me that it's meditation, to meditate. When in actual fact, there's very simple, clear cut, simple, see it's simple, because me, I'm a dummy, I'm a retard. In the most accurate possible way of discussing it, I am retarded. Some people get offended when you say that. I don't mean to offend, but it gets home the point. Yeah. And well, where was I with that one? Yes, sort through prayer and meditation. To meditate, to think deeply. Oh, right. Alcoholics are good at thinking deeply. They're so good at it, they get themselves so upset about the negative. They're so good at thinking deeply about the negative that they get so upset they end up drinking. This program turns the whole thing round and you start meditating on good stuff. Sort through prayer and meditation. Step 10 would be meditating, wouldn't it? Because you'd be thinking about stuff and it'd be good stuff. Right, and it all comes in together. 10 to 11, basically. You know, some people argue whether they should do it in the first thing in the morning or the last thing at night. I put forward, for me, that if I'd done my gratitude list, done my step 10 before I went to bed and finished with a gratitude list, I'm grateful for God, I'm grateful for my family, I'm grateful for all the everyday things that I'm grateful for, then I'm grateful for things that happened in the day, and reinforcing it and becoming intuitive. Yeah, wow, this is it, and I know this works through steps 4 and 5. This stuff works. So there you go. Most healthy people, or most people who keep a diary, are pretty healthy people. You'll notice that. Very few people keep diaries. Is that part to do with not wanting to face up to the truth, not to keep recognising the truth that they're in denial about, which is why this program's here for everybody. Yeah, so you got me there. You got me there. So yeah, but now because of step 4 and 5, step 10, I can now focus on and meditate on positive stuff. Hey, there you go. That's it. Job done. Job done. Get in there. Which, if you do that often enough, it will become intuitive. You will become step 12. You become step 12. Having had a spiritual awakening as the result of these steps, not any old result, the result of these steps, we practice these principles in trying to help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. Bingo. That's it. Job done. How long have I been doing this? Just over an hour. Yeah, I don't know what's out around about that. Now, I wasn't too careful about my pronunciation, and I wouldn't like somebody to switch off just because they couldn't understand my voice, my pronunciation, my accent. I would like that, and I understand because I know I would do that myself. And so hopefully it was reasonably clear to pronounce and to project my voice. Yeah, that's it, guys and gals. Yeah. If you're not too sure about anything that's been said, drop me a line. No problem. I'll be more than pleased to discuss it with you. You want to have a bit of critical, you want to be constructively critical, by the way, then hey, I'm fine for that as well. Bit of constructive criticism, always welcome. Always welcome. Because I don't have that fear in my life anymore. And I don't worry about what people think about me. Because most people would think the guy's alright. And the guy is alright. I was out taxiing the other night there. It's now dead. We're all complete lockdown, everybody everywhere, every night. Pubs are shut, everything. But I go out, get a bit of fresh air. I was in the supermarket car park, Argos, Tesco's, and there's this guy, and he wanders about the town at times, and he gets all over the place. He must have a travel pass or something, and he's a bit of a nuisance, and he just kind of gesticulates wildly and all that stuff, and he begs off people, and he came up to me in the car park, say, "Hey, you girl," say, "Why you shout?" What? He was surprised that I spoke to him, because most people just give him money and that's it. Why are you shouting? You don't need to shout. I can hear what you're saying. Oh, well, what's this? No, you don't need to shout. Just talk to me. I'm schizophrenic. I said, but that's fine. Okay, you're schizophrenic. But if you don't shout at people, you won't frighten them, and you'll get a better response from them. And I said, "Oh, right, okay." And I gave him a quid. And that's fine by me. I've no problem with it. And this is all happening the same night, by the way. I went into the town on the high street. This woman jumped out. She's a wee Indian woman. She's kind of eccentric type. And she was blah 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 blah. I said, "Yeah, right, calm down, right, where are you going?" "Ah, blah 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 blah." "Yeah, but where are you going to?" I said, "Oh, for goodness sake, you got one here." She was only going round the corner of the station. Eventually I managed to get some money out of her and send her on her way. And that was okay. And then, this is all on the same night. What else happened? Oh yeah, I'm heading home. And this car's parked on the curbside of the roundabout just before my house. And it was waving me down, so I pulled up and said, "Right, okay." There's this wee woman. She said, "Oh, can you give us a lift up to so-and-so? And the car's run out of petrol and da-da-da." And she was obviously ill, kind of emphysema type, horrible. And the wee husband was there with a bottle of beer. So he was drunk. I said, "God, you've opened up a can of worms here, John." But I'm being all reasonable about it. I said, "Right, well, where are you going?" "Well, just up to." "Right, okay, what's happened to it?" "Run out of petrol." "All right, okay." So in they get, drop them off, and back home again. So that was 3 people within an hour. Just amazing. And I'm being nice and calm and controlled with them. And wow. That's recovery. Recovery to a normal person would just be, well, that's normal. There's not that many of them about. As I said at the beginning of this oration, most people in this country, planet, need this program. That's why God gave it. He showed us as an example. If they can do it, you can do it. They still haven't got around to it. And he's screwed up anyway. So you'll only get this program from people like me. And rarely will you get any meetings. Come to Luton on a Tuesday, 1 o'clock. There's a little meeting there which follows the AA guidelines in the sense that it has a topic discussion meeting. And it works from the list of topics, specific and suggested, that AA gives us. And that's all we do. So, topic, right, okay, right, that's enough for that, right, fine. Everybody okay? Next topic, and you want to talk? All right, okay, fine, do that. This meeting's only on for an hour, but at least 5 topics, and it's all to the point, so nobody can go waffling on, because can you stick to the topic, mate? Yeah. Oh yeah, I'll stick to the topic, knowing full well they're not going to stick to the topic. And then, but these people, once they don't get their own way, they go away and play somewhere else. You see, and this is my favourite meeting. Well, this lockdown thing, is affecting things because we can't get our sheets out because they might be contaminated. So we're just having a kind of ordinary type meeting. And an example of the sickness is from this one guy. He's a wee Indian guy, wee fat Indian guy. And I don't know why I said that, just to describe who he is. He's a wee Indian bloke. And he's been about quite well, it seems. And we have this when we read out, read out about switch your phones off and all that stuff, common courtesy. And I noticed outside my head that this guy was playing on his phone. It was one of those Candy Crush games or whatever. Quite rude. Just ignore it. Couldn't ignore it. So why should I? So I point it out to the secretary or whoever, And I get it sorted. Oh, he goes on the huff and walks out. And this fucking Yvonne, she's a nurse or an ex-nurse. I sometimes think she's Florence Nightingale, She has to go and save everybody. And she goes chasing after him. Ignorant. You're in these rooms long enough to know. And why are you doing it? But I get the blame. I get the blame. That's how bad it's got. That behaviour is acceptable, but challenging that behaviour from a point of view of self-respect and self-esteem, and defending the conscience of the meeting, and also other people who might be watching this going on and being upset. The type who don't say enough and probably agree to it but thinking the opposite because they're frightened. And the self-esteem, the self-respect isn't strong enough yet. But once you get this program, no chance. No chance. You're told to switch your phone off. And he was still trying to defend it. And she was trying to defend him. And then the secretary was trying to calm the whole thing. Say, cut that. He doesn't do it, and that's it. He's not been back. Not missed it. He hasn't got a program. Obviously hasn't got a program. Or he wouldn't have any difficulty obeying the group's rules and regulations. I keep forgetting the words for these things. But that's how shocking some of this stuff is. Some people they are sick, and we can't do anything for them. So there's no point in having them. As Clarence Snyder said, if you don't want this program, what are you doing here? You come to my house, you can have this program in 2 days. I've explained that. And that's following the book. Bunch of ex-drunks, screwed up to Cash funeral, argued where to put a full stop, yet they created a masterpiece. One of the most profound books ever written, if not the most profound book ever written. Just a shame it's full of alkies. But I keep plodding away because that's all I can do. That's all it says. You shared your experience, strength, and hope. My experience is My strength is the program. And my hope is that somebody will hear something about what I'm saying. And that's when I'm going to sign off. I just hope somebody gets something from what I say. And if you don't, do us all a favour and just ignore me. Or drop me a line and we'll have a discussion about it. There you go. But you'll lose. So, ta-ta. What time is it? Hold on a minute. It's 6 a.m. in the morning. And I'm not tired. Jesus. So, right, I'll edit this and end it. End the stream. There you go. Yeah. Beautifully edited. End. Bye.